Total domination today from your Cincinnati Bengals. The former Bengals kicker, Doug Pelfrey, is here. Doug, let me have you take the poll question first. Are the Bengals as good as they look today, or are the Raiders just that bad?
To me, it's the Bengals are really that good because, I mean, honestly, you can't enforce your will on another team as much as we did today from the get-go. I mean, think about it. We didn't have a turnover. We made them turnover. We didn't have a sack. We forced a sack. I mean, everything kind of went our way, and it wasn't so much that they just let us. I mean, we're in a hostile environment. The Raiders is the place where, I mean, these people aren't just dressed up for Halloween. I mean, they're like this every single day. So, you know, we just took it to them pretty much from the get-go.
I think many of them go to work like that on Monday morning.
So.
What I really liked was the statement the Bengals made right out of the chute. 4th and 1 on the goal line, on the road. You could very easily justify settling for a field goal there. It's a chip shot. They go for it on 4th down, and they nearly lose the yardage. Jeremy Hill bounces outside. They get a touchdown. But it's an early statement.
Absolutely. It's an early statement. I think it's the confidence that Marvin Lewis has in this offense. I think with the offensive line, it was a great chance for them to kind of step up and try to impose their will on the Raiders defense, who's kind of a smash mouth. That's their philosophy, so he wants to basically hit them right in the mouth from the get-go. It was Jeremy Hill. I mean, there was nothing. He had great vision, showed his speed, and got into the end zone. It was exciting.
Let me follow up on Jeremy Hill. He had 19 carries for 63 yards today. 2 of the 19 carries went for touchdowns. You know, you think you got to rush for 100 yards or 110 or 125 to have a big game. But Jeremy was really efficient with those 19 carries. He looked like a dominating back, even though he didn't have dominating numbers per se.
He was efficient. I think throughout the season you're going to see him get 25, 30 carries a game sometimes, and the offense is going to need him to get more carries in some of the games. But today, I think what made him so effective is obviously he's a great back, and you could hear that on the TV by the commentators. But I think also the fact that this offense was so spread out over the field. I mean, we could throw out wide. Eifert owned the middle of the field, so I think it was pretty much easy pickings.
You can see that this is a much different football team with Tyler Eifert. He missed, of course, 15 and a half games last season, injured in week 1 at the Ravens. Difference maker. He is flat out a difference maker, isn't he? And he has to be such a comforting presence to the quarterback.
I think especially in the red zone. I think when you saw both times that he caught those touchdowns, they were difficult catches at the same time.
High degree of difficulty, yeah.
At the same time, they were great passes by Dalton. He threw them just where Tyler can make them, but he had a lot of confidence, and he came down with the catches. I think somebody like A.J. Green's going to love the fact that Eifert's healthy. I think Jeremy Bell's going to love the fact that he's healthy. So to me, a healthy Eifert means a really good Cincinnati Bengals football team, and traditionally, if the Bengals have a good tight end presence, they're usually really, really good.
What specifically, aside from not allowing a sack, did you like from the Bengals offensive line? Because last year they went through this too, where it was 4 or 5 weeks to open the season, I forget exactly, where they did not allow a sack. So they're in that form again.
It wasn't just the fact that a sack's a sack, but it's the less that you get your quarterback hit, the more confidence they had. I think part of that's Hugh Jackson and the fact that he had an offense where they had real quick hitters where they were throwing the ball, getting it to him in space. I thought Andy threw the ball on time. I thought he threw the ball with pretty good precision today, except for on a couple of the long passes. But to me, the offensive line gets a lot of the credit for that because they kept him standing up, and it wasn't like he was throwing it and then even getting hit, and it wasn't like they kept panning to Dalton trying to pick himself up off the ground. So, to me, they controlled the line of scrimmage when it came to the short. The 4th and 1s I didn't really like. That's the only thing I didn't like about our offensive line. But pretty much the running game, the passing game, I thought they did a great job.
The incident with Adam Jones and Amari Cooper, we saw it where Adam kind of pulled his helmet off and then slammed his bare head into the helmet. I mean, did you see anything there that kind of triggered that? And what could happen here with Adam going forward? Could he lose a game next week?
Unfortunately, I saw pretty much the same angle you did, where you really couldn't see what led to it. In football, the guy who strikes second is usually who gets called for it. I don't know if Maury hit him and that's why he was so angry, or if it was the fact that he's a rookie receiver and hey, I'm going to pretty much show you how we play football here in the NFL. So I don't know what they were trying to do. Amari Cooper's a really good guy. He's a true professional, so he must have done something that Adam Jones didn't like. But Adam Jones has really got to control himself. All you hear about is the maturation of him and how he's getting so much better, but you can't lose your control because he's so vital to our special teams as well as our cover. And
the only real negative was the fact that George Iloka, starting safety, had to leave the football game with an injury. We will see to what extent he is injured in the coming days, of course. Geno Atkins, well, it's not his return, but it's kind of his return to full health because he now has that year under his belt following a major knee surgery. He gets a big surge today. As a result, Carlos Dunlap comes around the edge, gets a sack. He gets a sack of his own, forces a fumble. Michael Johnson, welcome back. He recovers it.
Right.
Some real good things along that defensive front.
Our defensive line makes it so makes our defense so much better, and I think that's what's going to be key. Is that if that internal defensive line can kind of continue to put pressure, stuff the run, it makes our linebackers and our defensive backs that much better. Geno Atkins being healthy will. I mean, it really takes a year or two before you really come back from an injury, especially on your knee, where you're constantly concerned that you're going to get cut or you're going to, something's going to happen, and it's just too fresh in your mind. So, I think a healthy Geno Atkins makes for a great defense.
San Diego Chargers with Phillip Rivers are here next weekend. They trailed 21-3 at home to the Lions today. Came back and won. Rivers throws for more than 400 yards, a couple of touchdowns to lead that comeback. Give me your prediction for next week's home opener.
Well, we're 1-0, so we got to go for 2-0. So I'm going to go with Bengals over the Chargers. I think it'll be a little bit higher scoring affair for on defensively. I don't think we're going to hold them to 13 points, but I think it's going to be a 30 to 20 something game.
Well, they certainly owe the Chargers one for that home playoff loss about 19 months ago. Doug Pelfrey, thanks so much for being here tonight. We'll see you again after week 2.
All right.